Hi friends, this is a lecture on sonnet number 30 by William Shakespeare, Went to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought. As a Shakespearean sonnet, this particular sonnet, sonnet number 30, also consists of 3 quatrains and a couplet written in iambic pentameter lines. As we all know, Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets and was published in 1609 by Thomas Thorpe in quarto form. Among these 154 sonnets, the first 126 are addressed to a fair youth. The first 126 sonnets are called as fair youth sequence, and the next 26 are addressed to a dark lady, and the last 2 are conventional poems. This sonnet number 30 is a tribute to poet's friend. So this one also belongs to that fair youth sequence. This sonnet number 30 also belongs to that fair youth sequence. And the beginning, the first line is Went to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought. In the first quatrain, the speaker remembers his past losses. Went to the sessions of sweet silent thought. I summon up remembrance of things past. I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought. And with old woes, new veil my dear time as waste. So here the poet says that he was reflecting on things that have happened in the past. He was thinking of all those events that have happened in the past. Went to the sessions of sweet silent thought. I summon up remembrance of things past. The speaker was reflecting on things that have happened in the past. Okay, so he was thinking about all those events that have happened in the past. Then I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes, new veil my dear time is waste. So then he is talking about those lost opportunities, those missed opportunities. So he says that he remembers that he wanted to use all those best years of his life. According to him, he had wasted all those best years of his life. He couldn't achieve all those things that he had wanted in his life. He couldn't achieve all those good things. He had missed a lot of opportunities. He couldn't use all the opportunities properly in his life. So he considered it as a waste of time. All those years, all those best years in his life had been wasted by him actually. So he is complaining about all those all those things that he have wasted in his life. He had wasted all those precious time, and also now all those sorrows, sorrows, it feel new again to him. He can experience that pain now also. Moving on to the next quatrain. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow, for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woo, and mourn the expense of many a vanished sight. So here he says he can weep heavily, he can cry, but although he was not used to crying, even though he rarely cries, but now he can weep heavily for those dear friends who have died. I was not very much used to crying, but now I can cry for those dear friends who have died. I can also weep for lost loves. He says he is not used to crying, but he can weep heavily now for those dear friends who were dear to him once but have died, and also for lost loves. So he was complaining about those things that have been destroyed. He couldn't get back all those things in his life. Many things have been destroyed. So he is thinking about all those events which he couldn't get back in his life. He wanted so many things in life that was now past to him. So he says he can weep heavily for those friends and also for lost loves, even though he is not used to crying. And so he complains about all those things that have been destroyed. The third quatrain. Then can I grieve at grievances forgone, and heavily from woo to woo tell over the sad account of bemoaned mourn, which I knew pay as if not paid before. So here in this third quatrain, he talked about all those bad events that happened to him one after another. He's complaining about all those things that had happened to him, one bad thing after another. All those sad tale of things. So he have already complained about all those things. He had experienced all those pains in his life, but now all those disappointments and sorrows, it is like fresh to him. He is experiencing all those pain fresh and sharp as before. So the speaker endures the pain all over again. So he says, then can I grieve at grievances forgone, and heavily from woe to woe tell over the sad account of foe bemoaned mourn, which I knew pay as if not paid before. So he is complaining about all those bad things which happened to him one after another. So it was painful earlier, and now also he experienced the same pain now also. The sorrows, the disappointments, the regrets, everything he was experiencing now also. It was like fresh and sharp as before, just as it happened in the past. So it is said that time heals everything. But that healing power of time didn't work with the writer, didn't work with the speaker. Time always heals everything. Every disappointments and sorrows will fade with time. But here, in the case of the speaker, the healing power of that time doesn't work well with the speaker. He is experiencing all those pain as fresh and sharp as before. So all those grief and disappointment that he experienced in the past is now fresh again in the mind of the speaker. He can experience all those pain now also, and as though no time has passed at all. The healing ability of time has not worked well with the speaker. Then in the last couplet, the speaker expressed a sudden unexpected relief. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. So he was talking about all those griefs, disappointments, regrets, everything in the first three quatrains, and now he is expressing a relief in the last couplet. He says, but if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. So he's saying, if I stop and think about you, my dear friend, when I begin to think about you, all my sadness, all my disappointments, everything vanish. I have lost all those, I have lost memories. I have a lot of things that I have lost in my life. But all those sorrows of those lost things will diminish, will vanish when I think of you. So in this couplet, the speaker actually provides an unexpected relief. Through all these three quatrains, he was talking about his pains, his sorrows, his disappointments, but everything have a solution. He mentioned about a solution in the last couplet. That is, when he think about his friend, when he think about his dear friend, every such sorrows will diminish. So he says, when he thinks of his dear friend, every such painful memories will be lost. Every such painful memories will diminish, and he can find a sort of relief in his friend. All he had to do is just to think about his friend, just to think about thee, my dear friend. When I think of you, all my sorrows, all my disappointments will vanish forever, and I will get a sudden relief in my heart. So here he says that the passage of time couldn't give him any relief, but the thought of his friend can give him sudden, unexpected relief to him. He can experience that relief when he think of his friend. The thought of his dear friend is able to diminish all those negative thoughts from him. So obviously this friend may be that fair youth, but that beautiful young man of Shakespeare. Obviously this will be that man which Shakespeare was praising all through those 126 sonnets. So the sonnet begins with all those despair, all those grief, all those disappointments of the speaker, and it ends with the speaker's relief which he experienced from thinking about his friend. So the first 12 lines, the first 3 quatrains of the poem are very much dark and full of despair. And there was a sudden, unexpected relief to the speaker. That relief was described in the last couplet. So there he talks about his dear friend who has the ability to give him relief, who has the ability to diminish all those despair from him. So thus in this sonnet, the speaker praises that young man, that beautiful young man who has the capability to give relief, to give a soothing relief to his friend, to the speaker. And thus with that end this sonnet.